You open Vicissitudes and you start reading, and you don't even know where Kim Green is going with this narrative yet. But as you read, you fall into the mindset of Morgan, and you completely understand where she is coming from, whether you can relate to her or not. There are ways in which Kim has made this person come to life that allows you to find a space to be relatable. And something automatically that I related to was, being a black woman. And Morgan has these challenges, these things about her, things going on, but you don't see all of it in perspective, nor is it the reason why the story's being told. You can see that it's just the way this woman is, her being, her authenticity, and that she has a story behind her. And we think maybe we're going to be going to that. She finds somebody that challenges her to think about who she is and what her own desires kind of stem from. And in that, she's able to realize that her authentic self has nothing to do with the projected normative narratives that society tries to instill in each and every one of us. Now, Green proposes the idea that authenticity comes with a cost. She does this in a way that makes you think, okay, but what if? There's all these what ifs. We go through them day in and day out, don't we? But she challenges us to reconsider them less as a form of acceptance and more as a form of being authentic to oneself. Morgan finds this space with John where she's able to kind of canvas herself, reimagine the painting of her own flesh, and be free about him. There's nothing outside of him that would suggest anything else. She's very, very intuitive to him. She feels him. She finds him. She knows him. She hugs him. She holds him. She knows that the breadth of him is who she is. And it makes her reimagine herself as the woman she's always known. But you see, the normatives, those things, they get painted on our skins, they get painted in our clothes and our work and the tiring ways that we live and go about our day. Those normative ways of being, they jive you, man. They begin to take away who you are. And in this book, I found that it was not only about love and believing in love at its fullest capacity, but about finding yourself within a core that will elicit any kind of love. In due time, you see Morgan learns in a deep conversation at a park bench that, John used to be a woman. And she was so puzzled about how they got to this point because, he wouldn't tell her what was wrong. He was really upset. And she says, is it another woman? And he doesn't answer. And, the blood leaves her. And she feels like this imminent change is about to occur. And she's like, in her head, she's like, we're going to say goodbye before we even get the chance to say hello. We just said hello. And it's this ongoing, drive to this park bench where they sit and he tells her, I used to be a woman. That is the other woman. And her question immediately back to him was, well, what was your name? What was her name? And he's so upset. Like, did you hear what I just said? It has nothing to do about the past. I'm here with you now. And this moment that shifts, that Green puts us into, is a reminder that if you are not in the now, there is no going forward. If you cannot believe in who you are in this moment, your core is adjusted, your spirit is aligned, your love and your passion for life are kindred to who you are. If you don't have that, you're not going forward. In this really heavy moment where John has to present himself in an unveiled way to her, she realizes that she does, in fact, question her own desires, but knows that, for certain, the way she feels about him, well, that's the way it is. It's been that way since they met. The energy, the chemistry, all of that has been there. So Green teaches us, through the illustration of this story, to acknowledge what we accept and what we don't accept. Now, this book is not painted only for people that have gone through transitions with their bodies, or people who struggle with disabilities or have, ailments or whatnot. This book is for everyone. There's a lesson for everybody in this book. And something that I took away from it wholeheartedly was the fact that without my core aligned, without anything that I believe in, my values, my cores, intact with my priorities, there's nothing that I can achieve. But if I have all of that, and if I know how to love myself, to embrace anything outside, that's possible. There's nothing that can stop me there. So, with all that said, this book is a place that values a people. Black voices are often silenced. The community within our black culture is often shifted. The dynamics changed. African American is no longer just African descent. It is blended. We are in tune to a culture that we have created. And we have to find the value in raising our voices and being present and knowing our core and knowing that there is no narrative we can't write. So, simply, Vicissitudes ask you to look at yourself, challenge what you believe, pay attention to what you know, gather more information, and love spiritually, honestly, and without care or concern for what others may think or believe of you. This book, I've read it twice now, and there's something grand about how Kim illustrates life and accepting it. And in that sense, we really can all read this and gather something from it. There's so much to take away from the stories of the women in this book and John too, and the transformative narratives that go on in people's lives, how transgendered people live, and how they have to carry this weight of the feeling of revealing and having to work that into their relationships when they start to care. And it makes you question and wonder, how did we get to this point where we have to not care and find a place where we begin to care? And I think that Green did an excellent job in portraying this within a casual communal sense of saying, hey, this is where we're at right now. These are the streets that we live in. These are the homes that we invade and the people that we know and don't know, and that love has no limitation. The only limitation that we put around love is the capacity we carry within ourselves to have it. So, that's all.